We'll start at number 10, and we'll start with Sam Steele of the Anaheim Ducks here. First-round pick back in 2016, Panger. Coming off 22 points in 65 games last year, getting set for his third season in Anaheim. Why do you think he's poised for a breakout?
Well, it's been an organization that's been in transition, and I think they slowly, put him in spots that were going to be beneficial and not harmful. And I think I've seen enough of Sam's two-way game and his, he's pretty diligent, battling for pucks and making plays. And a lot of times when you're looking at this, I'm not just necessarily looking at points. I'm looking at where the player fits in and what kind of responsibilities. The kind of player that you've got a 2-1 lead, you're on the road, and he's going to be on the ice, or he's going to take a late face-off, or is he the kind of player that the coach has to hide every single game? Boy, I got to hide this guy. I got to hide him here. And then you look at the roster and you go, well, I know why he's there, because the coach is trying to hide him. But you want that guy to be out in front of it all. And when the game's on the line, these players want to play. Whether it's a young center iceman that the coach has relegated him to the wing because he's afraid of him on the face-off dot, but now taking a step forward and saying, hey, I've got this. And so I like Sam. This is a team here in transition, as I've just said. I mean, there's a lot of good young players on this team, including Terry on the right-hand side, and it's combined with some veterans, including Grant coming back after being traded at the deadline for some assets to Philadelphia. So Silverberg Raquel having some wonderful seasons, in the National Hockey League, and then obviously Adam Henrique as well. So I think he's well insulated. And maybe he'll get a little bit more time with the top boys too.
All right, if you're a player in the NHL and a coach is trying to hide you, you are not on our breakout players list. So Sam Steele, not that guy. He checks in at number 10. A lot of firsts for Cody Glass. First NHL goal coming on October 2nd, 2019. Of course, the very first pick in Vegas Golden Knights franchise history. Cody Glass coming off 39 games in the NHL, putting up 12 points, 5 goals in year number 1. At number 6, kind of staying with the Vegas Golden Knights theme, this guy was picked 13th overall by Vegas back in 2017, but a trade takes him en route to Montreal. Nick Suzuki checks in at number 6. Panger on your list, named to the NHL All-Rookie team in his rookie season. What do you sense a breakout year for him looks like?
Well, I think that he fits in real well with what they have right now because he's competitive. I think the Montreal Canadiens for the last few years a bit on the smaller side, and I think far too many players, if you're on the smaller side, except for Brendan Gallagher, on the outside. And you can't have a team of guys on the outside. It just doesn't work. You're not going to make these pretty passes all the time through the legs and heel-to-toe saucer passes. But I like that the Suzuki's got a real good coach, too, in Kirk Muller, a former NHL forward. And Kirk's really good at working with the forwards, and he gets a lot out of these players. And I've just been watching closely the development of Suzuki. So I think he's primed for a breakout. And, again, unique, being a right-hand shot, opens up the ice in different situations as well, and I think he's competitive. 13 goals. Most of the guys that we have, Cody Glass had 5 goals, but he has a little injury, and they've got a veteran team. It's hard to crack that lineup, but, Brady Tkachuk with 21 goals. That's kind of the number that we're looking at. So can he get from 13 to 20? Probably, but I think the point and the overall play is where I see the breakout from Suzuki.
And a lot of these guys, high-end picks, first-round picks for their respective squads. And you talked about Montreal, and they kind of have, you go back to that ice hockey game for Nintendo, and there's a small guy, a medium guy, and a large guy. They had a lot of the small guys. Yeah. But Mark Bergevin making a lot of moves this offseason to bring in some bigger-type bodies. How do you think that affects guys like Brendan Gallagher and a body type like Nick Suzuki?
I think it's great. I think it's absolutely perfect. You can't have them all the same. It just doesn't work. Toffoli, he's a shooter. He's a playmaker. He makes things happen. Anderson, he's a plow horse. He's going to get in there, and he's going to drill you. He's going to get in on the forecheck. Armia, the same thing. Another big body that can go. Byron's small, but he can skate. Kotkaniemi is actually another player that could be on this breakout list. Yeah. I thought he had a great second part of the year, and going to the American Hockey League, playing in Laval, then getting back up again. It was a little bit of a humbling experience. And when he got back up, especially in the bubble, when they defeated Pittsburgh, he looked terrific, looked faster, he looked like he was getting the pucks a lot quicker. And again, just the learning process for these young players.
Yeah. And we didn't even mention Josh Anderson. He's no small little guy either.
He's a plow horse. Big body. Yeah, Anderson, he'll get in there, and he'll get that forecheck going, and he'll create space for the smaller guys. So, you don't want Brendan Gallagher going toe-to-toe with all these guys every single night, Get the big boys in there.
Exactly.
Let the little guys dangle a little bit.
Exactly. Nick Suzuki dangling at number 6. Elvis entered the building. He never left Panger. 26 years old, rookie season in the NHL. 5 shutouts. Not too shabby. .923 save percentage, and you still think we haven't seen his best yet.
Well, no, he's an adventurous sort, isn't he?
He likes the save, the art of the save.
How to make a bunch of acrobatic, miraculous saves. I mean, move a little, move a lot. I like Elvis, though. I remember seeing him at the prospects camp in Traverse City. Then when he played a preseason game in St. Louis, and somebody had asked me at that point, what is it that you like about Elvis? And I said, he's competitive. He's an athlete. And you see some of the saves that he makes there. I think as you get older in the league, you get more to the middle of the net, and there's a little bit more of calmness about your game. But I like having an athlete where you can harness him a little bit, but you've either got it or you don't have it.
Right. You don't want to. Yeah.
You know, you've got to have those quick twitch muscles, you know, to be able to make those saves. And you know, he didn't get his first win till late December.
It took a while.
And then went on a 12-2 run. And I mean, I just think he's fun to watch. He's going to get better and better and better, but the ability is right there. I love watching him play.
Small sample size. We've only seen a handful of games in the NHL, but how do you know that it's not just a flash in the pan with this guy?
You don't with anybody. I mean, and that second year is just such a difficult year. You're talking to a guy firsthand who failed to live up to the first year that I had. I just had a real hard time the next year.
Why?
But
What's tough about it?
Well,
because you've made
expectations are higher. You've walked into your first year where maybe not all the teams have a book on you. The more that they can complete that video on you, the more that they can. Great shooters just find a way to pick you apart. I mean, if they find that they can drop a shoulder on the left side and your right elbow collapses in low, they're going boom, ding, 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 ding. You know, I mean that's how quickly. But the first time around, everybody's like, okay, is this who's in that? Is that Korpisalo? Is that Merzlikins? How do you say his last name? Hey guys, what you know? But I think too the athlete himself also makes those adjustments, and that's how you stay on top.
All right, Elvis Merzlikins, our first and only goalie, cracking the top 10 of our breakout players coming up next season. A lot of first-round picks on this list. Our next guy at number 4, not the case. 7th-round pick all the way back in 2014, Victor Olofsson of the Buffalo Sabres. Panger, 20 goals in his rookie year, 11 of those on the power play. It seemed like that first 2 months of the season, anytime Buffalo got on the man advantage, this guy scored from the half wall.
Yes, he did. And I saw it firsthand at ice level. I mean, just puts himself in a scoring position. A really good hockey sense. He goes to the quiet areas. I remember you have conversations with guys like Brett Hull, and, you know, where did you find that space? And you know, players either have that ability or they try to, you know, cruise into areas that are so congested. There's no way a guy's going to get the puck on your stick. But you saw a little bit of that with Jack Eichel, especially on the power play. Eichel kind of looks, and then there's Olofsson. He's just waiting in the wings, and he's a finisher. So, you know, last year was a great year for him. I think it's only going to get better and better for the Buffalo Sabres, and you know, dancers dance and shooters shoot, and he's a shooter, and I love the way he fires the puck.
You talk about having a book on somebody. We have the book on him, but is it a different kind of book when it comes to an offensive-type skill player like Olofsson? You can't really shut that down. He's only going to get more opportunities, more chances to do what he does.
I mean, teams are going to defend him better. I mean, the minute that puck goes to the middle of the ice, and you know, they're going to get sticks in the lanes and make sure that can't go to Olofsson. It can't, because if it does, it's going to get. If it's not going to be on net and in the net.
Does Taylor Hall on the power play help Olofsson now?
I think it does. Now, there's only one puck out there. That's the problem that you have. But at the same time, being a left-hand shot and being on the right side, you know, does create a little confusion for the defending team and for the goaltender as well. And again, his hand-eye coordination is real good. There's not a lot of shots or one-timers that he takes that are muffled. They're usually in the middle of the blade, and they're usually
rockets.
Yeah, he gets it, you know, with good hand-eye coordination and very good timing. And he's a very accurate shooter.
Yeah, we didn't call him Victor Olofsson for nothing. Victor Olofsson coming in at number 4. Robert Thomas, number 2, a first-round pick of St. Louis back in 2017, getting ready for his 3rd full season in the NHL. And at 21 years old, already a Stanley Cup champion. And that Stanley Cup champion Brady Tkachuk coming in at #1. Mr. Consistency in his first 2 years of NHL service. 71 games both his rookie and sophomore season. He scored 45 points that first year and followed it up with 44 points again last year. Brady Tkachuk of the Ottawa Senators coming in at #1 on Darren Pang's Breakout Players to Watch coming up in 2021. And #1. I mean, we've talked ad nauseum about this guy, but you could tell before he got into the league he was going to be a gamer. He's going to be an NHLer just based on what his dad had done and his older brother had done, and he's living up to that billing.
Yeah, a guy that deserves a lot of credit locally in St. Louis is Jeff Brown, the former, another Ottawa native, by the way, but he was instrumental in coaching a lot of these players at the minor hockey level with the AAA Blues program. And I think being around a dad, being around some great guys. We were playing golf, and he pulled a shot, really pulled it hard to the right and almost out of bounds. And he and his brother were laughing. They're talking about Dougie Waite. And